Alrighty, yo, what is up, Knights? Aegis Rick here, back with some more DFO Blitz, this time on my Battlemage. Now guys, this is the third video in this series, and I've initially started out by doing some of what I consider my main characters, and yes, Battlemage, I would say, is one of my top characters. It is, you know, she kind of rose to fame kind of quickly, and I'll kind of explain why that's the case. But guys, let's go ahead and quickly look at my gear. You guys can see I have like a motley crew of epic right now. I don't have any kind of sets at all. Like I have pieces, bits and pieces, but I got all my epics during the 85 last Hell Road event, so I got a lot of 85 epics. Dethroned Kingseer and Assassin's Blade Rings being really good mods right there. I got a Liberation Weapon, I think I crafted on my Knight and gave to my Battle Mage. And Avatar set, do have a full set. Do kind of like my costume that I got going on here as well. And got my Bellatrix creature. I also have Smash mod creature if I wanted it, but Bellatrix creature looks pretty cute, guys. But aside from the epics that I have on right now, I also have epics in storage. And that's actually part of the reason why you guys see me here, because although I have epics and I am a very powerful character, as you guys will soon see, I do feel like the fact that I have both Ray Decreased Shoulder and Lightness Auto Top is just a perfect synergy for farming the Gracia set, which is exactly why we are in the St. Horn region right now. And more specifically, guys, actually it's going to be the Timegate Requiem. So that's kind of what I want to do in this video. I kind of want to use it as an excuse to talk about how to farm legendaries, quest legendaries, and more specifically farming Gracia and the techniques that I use to do that, because there's a lot of nuances, enough to make a guide video, but I'll just use this as an excuse to kind of talk about them. Timegate Requiem is not like endgame content anymore, but it is still relevant, because I know I get a lot of questions nowadays like, hey, what do I do at the end game? This is something that you can do, and that is farming quest legendaries. So in this video, guys, I'm going to try to tell you everything I know about farming quest legendaries and why you want to do it. Now the first thing, where do you actually get quest legendaries? They are actually sold by the NPC Luther here. You can see he has all these boxes that have the quest legendaries in them, okay? But to get the items that you need to purchase the boxes that have the items in them, you need to do quests, and those quests are basically quests that are specific for whatever ancient dungeon that you're doing. So Vilmark has its own, you know, of course Norfair has its own, Screaming Cavern has its own, and you get these quest items. That's why they're called the quest legendaries, because you can purchase them from Luther as long as you do enough of the quest enough times. We've also gotten a lot of events that have given them to us for free, but it's just something that's why they're called that. Remember, guys, first things first, okay? There's a lot of things you got to do. First, I like picking up all the quests. Now, just how the ancients are laid out, Iris here has these quests right here, these 4, and she's giving you appeasing stones and the pink stone, the low-grade appeasing stones. Those are used for purchasing both the Requiem and Liberation weapons. That Liberation weapon is the one I have right now, and she's the only one that gives you the quest to do them. So make sure that anytime you're doing ancient dungeons that you have picked up the Iris quest, because that's to get you Requiem, and it's just a freebie. It's kind of like a bonus on top of the other quests, which if you click on the dungeon tab here, you can see all of the quests for the ancient dungeons here. And in fact, we're going to be doing City of Norfair to farm imposter reports to purchase the Gracia legendary. So we're going to be picking up both the City of Norfair and EX Norfair, because we'll be doing both of them. So that's the first thing you got to do, guys. Whichever dungeon that you're farming in the ancient region, make sure you have the quest from. And if we look over here, you'll see on the little right corner here available quests that we have active right now. You should always have 2 whenever you're doing any ancient dungeons, okay? So just throwing that out there. To have the quest accepted, here's for the EX version and the regular version. So before we actually go into those dungeons though, we had to do some preparation beforehand. First things first, set up a party, okay? Because what we're trying to build up is a lion run. You have to go into the party, find party mode, go into normal, otherwise you won't be able to go in, and then set up your own single party. Now you might be asking, okay, why would I set up a party if I'm the only one in it if I'm doing it solo? Turns out that you can't actually get a lion unless you're in a party. It doesn't start racking up points towards the lion, so you have to be in a party even if it's solo. So set that up. Trust me, I've forgotten to do that many times, and it's cost me big time, cost me a lot of runs. Next thing we're going to need is some entry materials. All you really need is clear cubes, which you should have a lot of, but also Endless Eternity. The magic number actually, if you're trying to farm for a lion, is 130. So I'm going to go ahead and pull out exactly 130. Another thing I like doing is locking up my Endless Eternity, so I don't exit when I press the move all button, it doesn't move the Endless Eternities. It's a nice little trick. So 130, that accounts for exactly 13 runs in the normal ancient City of Norfair. because if you look at the entry cost right there, it costs 10 endless eternities to do normal, and it actually costs 30 to do EX. We'll talk about that more in a second, but 130 is the magic number because about after 13 runs of normal ancients, you will be very close to getting your lion. You'll be on the next run or the run after that, you'll get your lion. Lion is an important thing because you can get quest legendary straight up by killing the lion, which is basically this region's version of hell mode. So anyway guys, aside from that, one last thing you want to have is a treasure hunter secret potion. You get this from, I actually like using them from the level up support pouches that you get from your daily quest. If we look here, these green pouches are the ones that can give you a treasure hunter secret potion. I like saving those up and holding on to them, or alternatively you can just craft them with alchemy. So anyway, have all those things ready and now you're ready to go, guys. I know there was a lot of explaining, but for the rest of the video, guys, we're going to be doing regular Norfair and EX Norfair. Now I want to explain as we go into regular Norfair. I personally like farming regular Norfair, okay, and I don't like farming the EX dungeon, and the main reason for that is because I get this question a lot. People always ask me, Rick, you're strong enough, Battlemage is strong enough, your character's strong enough, you should be farming EX dungeons. And the main reason I don't like farming EX dungeons, aside from them being slightly more difficult, they're actually a lot more difficult depending on your class, but the main reason is it costs 3 times the entry counts than normal Norfair. And for that reason, I don't like doing it. It just costs too much. That's the main point. It costs 3 times as much. It's 30 endless eternity every time. But people always say, you know, you get your quest faster. You can finish your Gracia set a lot faster if you do EX version over the normal. I agree. You can. You get more a day, meaning you can get the Gracia set faster. The problem is, it's only 50% faster, and you're paying 3 times as much. So that's why I like farming normal Norfair. And here you can see, okay, I want to explain this right now. I forgot to use the treasure hunter secret potion. Okay, so how do I know I did that? Well, all I got to do is look at how many quest materials I got returned to me. So for my quest right here, I'm currently doing City of Norfair. We're farming this item. This is the quest item that's dropping off of enemies. You only get drops if you have the quest active and you have not exceeded the cap. It says 24, it's actually 48, but under those conditions will items drop. Now I only got 9 for that last run because I didn't have any. The reason I didn't get 10, which is what you're supposed to do, is because I didn't use the treasure hunter secret potion. I guarantee now that when I do the run, I'll get 10 instead of 9. There's not a lot of reason why you shouldn't be using the treasure hunter secret potion, because there's not a lot of places where you can actually use it. There's not a lot of, you know, quests that actually that item will be useful for. So you know, you got to use it whenever you get the chance. So we're going to see in this run we're actually going to get our full 10, I believe. So, and that's just something that, you know, shouldn't go to waste. So I think I got 2 in that room, and you know, it's just something that easily forgotten. There's a lot of things you can forget, and you're just losing efficiency when you do forget those kinds of things. So just throwing that out there. Don't forget to turn on your treasure hunter secret potion. Don't forget to make a party, and you know, you're going to be doing easier runs because of it. But guys, that's all explaining about the actual ancient dungeon runs. Let me talk a little bit about Battlemage. And there you can see I actually got 10 imposter blood samples, and I have the quest completed. Actually, let me talk a little bit more about ancients. So the quest is completed now, guys, so why don't I turn in the quest? Well, the reason for that is, like I said, you can only get drops while you have the quest active. So if I turned in the quest early, like right now, I wouldn't get any more drops, which is not what I want to do. And we'll go in one more time just to explain that the cap is indeed 48. But by using a method that I'll teach you guys in a second, you can circumvent that too. So anyway, let's talk about the Battlemage though. Battlemage is, what can I say? She rose to fame on my personal end very quickly. I think she is one of those characters that was initially not all that fun to me, but all of a sudden became really fun when I started getting some gear, and it was mostly because her speed and fluidity of play is really good. She has a system that's kind of like Chaser, the Chain Rush system on the Elven Knight, in that every time you cast a skill, you have the opportunity to cast a Chaser afterwards to increase the damage a little bit. Now, it's not necessary, but it kind of is, because the Chasers are like a humongous portion of your damage. Right there you saw the EX Chaser did almost like the 3 million damage. and you know, the fusion chaser is something that does more damage based on what chasers you have, or has different effects. The chasers are the main part of your play, such like the chain rush system. So here you can see I actually have 29. Like I said, the cap is 48. Now, before we get to the cap, we want to make sure that we don't get to the cap, because then we're missing out on anything that could have dropped while we were at the cap. So what you do to circumvent this is something I call over farming. There's also another quest that we're doing at the same time. That's the Iris quest, which I talked about earlier. This quest says that you can only have 15 of this frail soul item in your inventory before the quest item stops dropping. So what do you do to circumvent that? You over farm. What you can do is actually sell these to the NPC. If you look on the quest tab, you have all the regular tabs. You often don't go into the quest tab, but you can take those quest items and sell them to the NPC. You see I've done this already, and what that's done is remove them from my inventory, and now the items are no longer there. So it's like I haven't beat the quest anymore. I sold the quest item, and it's temporarily out of my storage right now. I can purchase them back whenever I'm done farming. It just allows me to circumvent the fact that there's a cap, and it no longer stops dropping. So make sure you sell your frail soul items as well as your quest items that you're farming right now, and hey, you just kind of circumvented the limit that they have on it. So anyway, back to talking about Battlemage. Now the thing about Battlemage, and what I'm kind of guilty, well, I don't want to say that this is the reason, but Battlemage just recently went over a lot of changes, and I'll just say bug mage one time in this video, because I know that has been a main complaint, is that she's had a lot of bugs, but they really haven't addressed them. And instead what they did is like, okay, Battlemage seems to have some problems, and I guess they figured that the problems were in damage related things, because what they ended up doing was giving Battlemage a ton of utility in terms of damage and AoE. She was kind of lacking in AoE and not really the damage, but they gave her both. So it seems like I jumped on the bandwagon with Battlemage. That really isn't the case. It was more like, okay, I actually geared her up, and I actually really like her playstyle. This is one of the new skills right there. It's like a 4-hit combo that also groups enemies together, and it's strong enough to kill trash mobs, obviously. And then the other one I've been using on the third room called Quasar Explosion, and it is like so incredibly strong. It's like almost as strong as her Second Awakening. Look at this. Boom! Like almost 10 million damage. Like, that is absurd for just a high level skill like that. I mean, not really, but the AoE potential and all that is like room wide too, so it's impressive amount of damage. So just shocking really when compared to other classes who have gotten new skills. Nothing close to that, I think, has been added to any other class in this game, where they're just like, hey, let's just give you a 10 million damage AoE room wide skill. Like, what? That's unheard of, man. But maybe you guys are thinking, okay, Rick, you're destroying the normal Nora Farah. I kind of explained. Well, Gabe here also sells some quest items. If you want them, you can get a little bit closer to your goal. You can buy liberation stones as well as your quest items. But maybe you're wondering, okay, Rick, you've been dominating the normal Nora Farah, but EX Nora Farah will show how hard it is. Not really. Battlemage really doesn't care. I'm not kidding when I say Battlemage is really strong. I did kind of miss that whole combo there, so I use the... Okay. Now, I will say this. Battlemage really does have powerful awakenings, and that's part of the reason why she's so powerful, I think, is that her Second Awakening just buffs her up so much. It's like however strong your character is gets multiplied by a million. Not really, but gets really amplified a lot by being in your Second Awakening form. So it's kind of what's happening here, is that, you know, anytime however strong you are there is just getting multiplied when you are actually in your Second Awakening. So it's a really, really good transformation. So here I'm kind of using the same tricks that I'm using in regular Nora Farah. Now remember that going into here cost actually 3 times as much as it normally does, because like I said, the EX versions are much more expensive, but the trade-off is, I guess the nice benefit that people like doing this dungeon for, is that you actually get 30 of your imposter reports instead of the normal 20, which is a little bit, like I said, 50% better. I don't know, I personally don't think that's worth it at all, but a lot of people seem to think, you know, it definitely is. So I'm gonna let people do whatever they want, but we get a pretty good chain right there. But that's just my take on that. And he's underground. I was able to kill him. And look at how strong the Tiana trans. I don't usually use a Tiana transformation unless I have to, but it is also very powerful. Oh. You do get access to a few new skills. I think the last time I played Battlemage, she didn't have the kind of versatility that Tiana had. She usually only had like basic attack, launch, and chaser. Now she can use like Dragon Strike, you saw me use, even the chaser press, or even the oh, we got Gabe again. Okay, I'll take him. Here you see his prizes have changed now that we're in the EX dungeon. You do have access to like Punto Wave and Meteor Assault and Dragon Strike as well, so it's pretty cool. Tiana got made a little bit stronger, and then the Second Awakening already was really powerful. So anyway, right now I've already spent 60 oh, he dodged it again. He spent like 60 Endless Eternity. These 2 runs could have counted for 6 runs over there at regular Norfair. I'm just saying, the cost, I don't think is worth the benefit. Now you might be wondering, okay, what is the real reason then people have to, like, I personally think there's only a few reasons why you'd ever want to do EX Norfair, and they have nothing to do with the quest legendaries. If you're farming quest legendaries only, I highly suggest just being patient. There's no reason why you're trying to farm Gracia set a little bit faster. Like, I'm talking like, okay, a tiny bit faster, okay, 1/3 of faster, 33%. But the real reason why you have to do this dungeon, and why I've done it so many times on my night, is that the drop tables are different between the 2 modes. Okay, if there's something that only drops in this dungeon, you have no other choice but to farm this dungeon. Those being, for instance, the cards, the boss cards, are only unique to each dungeon. So each of the Phantasmal Delazy, for instance, this is EX Phantasmal Delazy, and he is not the same. Oh, I missed that. Dang it. And he is not the same as the Delazy that you fight in regular Norfair. So he does drop a different card. It's stronger. Same thing with all the other bosses in this ancient Requiem zone. So, you know, that's one thing, the boss cards. The other thing is the actual legendaries. If you didn't know, the only place that you can actually get legendaries as drops, aside from, you know, raid and stuff, doing Anton raid, is the ancient dungeons, the Requiem dungeons and stuff. So Requiem EX dungeon, or, you know, the regular legacy legendary dungeons, those are the only places you can get legendaries. Oh yeah, and Gruff in the Dark Elf runes. Forgot about him. If you look at the DFOpedia, they drop here. They actually drop off the mini bosses very rarely, and the bosses themselves. And all of those are unique drop tables. If you look at the dungeons, every single dungeon in here has a unique drop table. So these have the same, or a unique drop table for each dungeon. Same thing with the Requiem. So if you're trying to farm a particular legendary, if you look at DFOpedia or something, you see that it drops off of a particular enemy. Like, let's look for like a weapon or something. If you go over here to the right side where it's saying, you know, this Hammer King Breaker only drops at EX Screaming Cavern, and it only drops off the Grave Robber King. So if you didn't know that, you can actually hover over these, and I'll tell you where you can get the item. So this is exactly what I'm talking about, where sometimes a very particular item only drops off a very particular dungeon. This weapon right here only drops off of Reshpon, Village of Pain, that's normal, non-EX, off of Duke Aganis. So that's the only other reason I can see why you'd want to do EX. So yeah, that's the only other reason. Like I said, I highly am against the idea of using this. Just look at the reward. It's like only 10 more than what the normal Norfair dungeon is. So anyway, just throwing that out there. A little tip from me. You don't have to listen to me though. Do what you want. But guys, we're gonna go ahead and pick up the imposter skin tissue so I can explain one last thing with the ancient dungeons. There is one limitation with the quest. You're probably wondering, hey Rick, why don't you do both? Hey, you can do the EX dungeon and you can do the normal dungeon. Now the problem is, you can get access to both quests, but when you complete one, it will not allow you to turn in the quest for the other one. So I'll complete the EX Norfair dungeon, but it says right here, the quest can't be completed if you did the Requiem quest already, which we did. We turned in and we got 30 fragments or imposter reports, but we can't turn in this quest. You'll see right here, I'll just tell you straight up, you can't do it. So even though I have all the items for it. Now that's the last thing, but that's actually pretty nice for us because that allows us to keep farming this quest if we wanted to, which we're gonna actually be doing for the rest of this video. I know I explained all the ancients, but I kind of wanted to talk about that, guys, because I don't think I've ever had a chance to explain all that. I know a lot of people watch me farming Gracia sets all the time on the stream, and they don't see me doing all these little things that I have never gotten a chance to explain. So this is my opportunity. So anyway, That being said, I didn't talk much about the Battlemage today, guys. I'm sorry about that. I know, like I said, I wanted to talk about the Ancients and all that, but hopefully I was able to tell you guys all the tips that I've been using for a long time now. In fact, a lot of my characters that you will see now on the DFO Blitz series did not have Gracias before, and now they do. Because I've been doing stuff like this. I've been very consistent on it. I've been able to overfarm. That's the benefit of selling your items, your quest items to the NPC, is that you can overfarm for months and months ahead of the day that you're actually on. Yes, you can only turn in the quest once a day, but hey, you can actually overfarm yourself months in advance. And so every day I just sign in really quick and turn in the quest. It's easy as that. So look at that combo, man. 3-hit combo. That's what? Fusion Chaser, EX Chaser into Meteor Assault. He's dead. Wow. I mean, I had to use my assist, but that's just to keep him there. So strong. And we got Gabe again, man. Getting Gabe all over the place. I guess I'll also tell one tip. Whenever you sell an item to an NPC, if it's higher grade than uncommon, the blue, it will actually shift off the items. Like, okay, I'll sell a couple blues. If you go back into the repurchase tab now, though, you'll notice that those blues have shifted all of my items over. Just keep that in mind, because you don't want to run these off of the repurchase tab, okay? Make sure you purchase them back at some point, recollect yourself, and then sell them back so you don't lose the items. And also, when you're done farming, don't forget to purchase them back, because trust me, I have fucked up really heavily one time on my night. I completely forgot about it. A week later, I went to go look for them. They were gone. Thousands of quest items were gone. So trust me, do not forget to do that. So anyway, guys, we'll do one more run of this. Sorry I didn't get to talk much about Battlemage. Just know that the main reason I like playing her and why I kind of want to gear her out, she's not on my next character list, by the way. My striker definitely is a higher priority in gearing out, but I think she's a very fluid character. Of course, she's very strong, but that has never been a factor for me. It's more like how fun are they to play, and I think the fluid nature of this class, and look at how fast she is, man. It's just a lot of fun to play with. The chaser system's a lot of fun too, and those are the reasons why I kind of like the Battlemage, guys. It's not much more than that. Chaser system and the speed, man. Ever since I got some gear, this class feels like a different character. So if you're playing Battlemage right now and you're not feeling it, I think I explained this in the last video, gear her out a little bit, because trust me, she feels like a different beast entirely. Her basic attack is crazy. She just feels like a fun character to gear up, and I kind of want to, but only after a female striker. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching. There was a whole bunch of Ancients. Hopefully you guys have learned something in this video, and maybe a little bit of how strong Battlemage is. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and I will catch you knights later.